This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
And Max Arraj along for the ride again tonight. I promise one of these days I'm going to remember to make that at a time when I am capable of making it like in a quiet place. But nonetheless, welcome back, gentlemen. I'm Justin Jarrett. We got Wes Kerr and Max Arraj doing the Lowdown thing on a Monday night, national championship Monday night. So if I keep looking off screen, I'm just checking in on UConn and Purdue. Got a pretty good one going in the first half, I'm sure. Our numbers may be a little bit down tonight, but that's all right. We understand there's other shows in town, and our show will be around in the morning for those who are locked into the hoops game tonight. But I guess that's a great place to start tonight, fellas. Hoops. How about Dawn Staley and the Lady Gamecocks? Well, not the Lady Gamecocks, the Gamecocks. The Gamecock women's basketball team. The Gamecock women's basketball team repping the Palmetto State and finishing 38-0, taking down Caitlin Clark in Iowa. And a great game. Just unbelievable. It didn't occur to me until I read it, like this weekend, that they lost all 5 starters from last year. They had 5 new starters this year from the team that lost to Iowa in the semis last year. And to be able to get back there and win it, and not only do that, but go undefeated through an SEC gauntlet too. Just unbelievable. Dawn Staley's the GOAT, man. She's unbelievable. Kentucky should make a run at her.
There's nobody
men's job.
Nobody better at your craft. Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Calipari's off to Arkansas, so we got an opening there. That would be cool.
That one, all the chicken nuggets you can eat, baby.
It's done. Yeah, but it's really cool to see the growth and just the rise to stardom and now really a dynasty-like program in our home state of South. Who would have thought the premier women's basketball program in the country would be right here? I mean, just amazing. And Dawn Staley, the way that she has built this program and does everything to the best of her ability, and the way that she's been able to recruit this top level talent now and just coach them up, and in that short time span of losing all your starters, and now you got a bunch of newcomers and having to get them up to speed to the college game. And to run the gauntlet, go run the table, go all the way, that is unheard of. I mean, it's rare you ever see something like that. Perfect season. There's been a few. Of course, Connecticut women and their heyday have.
I think it was
been the
10.
gold standard, but now
they're the 10th to do it.
Yeah, 10th team to ever do it.
Been a couple for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, that's a lot of years.
Puts them up in rare company. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff.
It's not easy.
I didn't get to see it. We were a baseball,
especially when you got that target on your back. Yeah.
I think
the way they were able to, Caitlin Clark scored. Caitlin Clark scored 18 points.
Do we have a bit of delay here?
Wes, go first. Wes, go first.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark scored 18 in the first quarter of that game.
Yeah,
and South Carolina was able to adjust and find a way to slow her down and just control.
They put Raven on her,
and obviously it's hard to shut her down entirely, but yeah, and the way they play defense and use that to fuel their offensive attack, and they just took it over, into that first half and kept it rolling into the second. I mean, just outstanding coaching, terrific game plan, and just the adjustments that Dawn Staley makes. I mean, she's the best to do it right now. And you can make an argument men's and women's right now. She's the best college basketball coach in the country. And that's a solid point that you can make, that there's nobody doing it better than her right now. And I mean, what a legend, an icon of basketball in this state, and just really puts this area on the map and legitimizes just, that this state is not just a college football school. We can develop elite basketball talent, and I mean, look at Clemson and South Carolina both making the tournament in the men's side, and Clemson going on that run to the Elite Eight. So it's cool to see the hoops teams taking center stage, whereas football is normally king, and that's what they say. Football is king in this state, and college football. I mean, there's nothing bigger than a trip to Death Valley or to Williams-Brice in South Carolina. But great to see the emergence and just the excellence of these basketball squads. Just really awesome. And Dawn Staley is you can make a case that she is reaching GOAT status, although there are a bunch of others that have delivered memorable coaching careers, including Gino Auriemma at UConn. But what I enjoyed most, just how humble that Coach Staley is after the game. She gave her congratulations to Caitlin Clark and saying, just nobody like you, you're amazing. And just to remark on the greatness of Clark and, just to be humble about it and to, be happy and proud for your team, but, just to recognize the moments and what Caitlin Clark has done for the game of women's basketball. I mean, that has to be the most watched final I would bet that it would be the most watched championship game.
It was the most watched basketball game of all time. It was 19 million. Most watched basketball game of all time.
Incredible. So that includes
I think what makes
NBA, college. That's amazing.
No qualifiers.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I think you look at their record over the last 3 years. I think that's what's really impressive. 109-3 record over the last 3 seasons. That's unreal. You want to talk about Dawn Staley getting that GOAT status? There's a reason that she's you would consider her for GOAT, for one of the GOATs.
That's outrageous.
In college basketball. 109-3. It's just an incredible.
She's like on a GOAT path. I think we can agree that. She's on a GOAT trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
You can say Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. He's not the GOAT yet, but he's on the trajectory. I think it's kind of a similar kind of argument there.
I think Dawn's on an even steeper trajectory than he is. Like she's on another level.
She's something else, man. She is something else.
But I also think that you were saying, Wes, about being, putting it on the radar or whatever, putting it on the map as far as women's basketball. I think it certainly filters down. I mean, I think we see the caliber of high school girls basketball across the state rising in large part because you've got a high profile women's basketball team right in the middle of the state that shows you a blueprint for what it can be, and like now Joyce Edwards committed there, right? So like they're keeping that in-state talent. It's a really cool thing. It's a really, really cool thing. And it's a lucky thing too, to have a generational coach like this, that this happens to be home. So there's like not another destination job out there that could lure her away, so it's going to be special to watch what she can build over the years. But I'm just excited about, this is the most excited I've ever been about women's basketball by leaps and bounds. This tournament was incredible. I've always been kind of a casual viewer. Didn't really watch much during the regular season, watched a little of the tournament, but the men came first. And, depending on the matchups this year, I watched women's games while there were men's games on at times. And there were certainly way more women's games that were like appointment television in this tournament than there were men's. The men's were like, oh yeah, that game's on. But the women's were like, oh, I got to watch that game tonight.
And while we're on the subject, give a shout to Angel Reese for her career and what she did at LSU. Absolute superstar.
I mean, this is the first time I've had any interest in watching the WNBA. And it's because there's like this whole cohort of like reality show personalities with the game to match that are moving on to the WNBA this year. And so now all of a sudden, I'm interested in like, oh, well, she's going to go to the Fever. Are they any good? And then who's she going to be paired with?
It's going to be huge.
If I'm interested, then anybody who had any passing interest has to be just through the roof right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think the draft is coming up, and then
Caitlin Clark's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, man.
She's a star among stars on
that. She may have changed, because before she kind of showed up. I mean, everyone was, Sabrina Ionescu was kind of that factor player for women's basketball. It was, the reason to watch. And Caitlin Clark showed up. And I think her, Angel Reese, I think those two players changed the way we look at women's basketball forever.
Yeah, just to see those rivalries.
And it's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. To see multiple stars going up against each other regularly for like multiple seasons. I mean, you talk about the men's game and there's so many one and dones, and for the women's game you see a lot more the best players staying for multiple years just because of how the landscape works. But I think it means something to see those women be a part of that program for a number of seasons and they get their names noticed, and then at the time they move on to the pros, it just further draws that interest for these fans, these schools, and just women's basketball in the college level in general. And so that I think the league, the WNBA, has to be absolutely over the moon for what is to come, and as they draw the momentum into the draft coming up and then the regular season, which takes place during the summer.
Now, I will say I wouldn't be too surprised if Clark struggles a little bit her first year in the league. And the only reason I say that, it's not anything against her. It's that Iowa team was really kind of unique in that they were all together for 4 years and they all understood their role, and they all understood that Caitlin was the straw that stirred the drink, and they all understood her so well and what she wanted to do. They knew when they needed to keep looking for a pass for an extra second. They knew, what she was going to look to do when she was going to do it. And so they made her better in the same way that she made them better. And so I think there's going to be a certain learning curve with her when she gets to the WNBA, where her teammates kind of have to learn how to play with her the way that her Iowa teammates did. And it may not be as smooth because they may not be as they may be a little more reluctant to take a back seat. But she's a tremendous player and definitely, I think, forever changed the perception of women's college basketball. I think she got the attention of a lot of people that nobody else had gotten their attention before. And in doing so, drew people to watch, the LSU team and the South Carolina team, and see Juju Watkins and see these other players that are coming along. And so I think it's going to perpetuate itself. And obviously the media has played a big role in it. They've leaned into it. But the media doesn't make people turn on their TVs. They have to be genuinely interested. And for 19 million people to watch, you're putting on a show.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Not as cool of a night for our boy Pringle. He got good playing time, was not very productive.
Oh, what an effort, though. Outstanding effort from Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they got after it.
I thought UConn was going to thrash it.
Yeah, I did too. I got to be honest. I
until those
fell asleep. I was exhausted. I was crying. I kept waking up and watching a couple minutes and zonking back on the couch.
Yeah, I think, obviously the national championship game is going on right now. It's been pretty close for that game so far. Definitely, we'll keep an eye on it as our podcast goes along. But hats off to Alabama, man. Well, what a run they had, dude. Just unreal. It showed, the grit that they had as a program. They were a strong team all season long, but they really came into their own at the exactly the right time.
That was the most.
And getting Nick back on board was a big part of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I think if Nick Pringle didn't have the game he had against Clemson, it would have been a much different game, a much different story. So to see him be able to pull that team and get that win, move on, play UConn in what was a great game against UConn, a very talented and very dangerous UConn team. Yeah, for sure. I think, hats off to Nick Pringle, dude. I hope I think he'll hopefully go back and play college ball next season.
I would suspect so. The one thing that's going to be interesting is Nate Oates' name has come up as a name with Kentucky, which feels lateral to me.
I don't think so.
He might let his name hang out there just to try to leverage an extension or something. But didn't he just get extended in Alabama?
He just signed a contract extension.
Yes.
I don't think Kentucky is better than Alabama. I mean,
but the same thing with Calipari, though.
Historically, but in this day and age, there's nothing better than job security, and he just gained a bunch at Bama, taking him to the Final Four.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He's like one of the Rushmore of basketball coaches there now. And
I mean, that's their first in school
to go to Kentucky, where there's Mount Rushmore's very full at Kentucky.
Right. You got to earn it again. You got
and the expectations are stupid
at Alabama. You're pretty much set at Alabama if you stay there.
I think so.
If you're
the funniest thing was
I think Scott Drew might go.
Yeah, the funniest thing was with Kentucky. I mean, the Kentucky said, "Hey, Calipari's staying. We're not letting him go or anything like that." And then he signs with Arkansas. So he left and headed towards Arkansas. So you never know with Nate Oates, but I just have a weird feeling that he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
That feels like Calipari just was being spiteful. Like the Arkansas people were like, "Hey, you guys want to call Coach Cal?" And somebody was like, "No way." And somebody was like, "Well, offer him free Tyson chicken for the rest of his life." And they called him, and it's like, "You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, scroll."
It's weird because I think he just decided he needed a fresh restart because he had 3 straight tournaments where it just did not go their way whatsoever. So
there was always going to be a faction there that supported him no matter what, but there was also always going to be a faction that wanted him out. I think it's the best for everyone. I think it had become an unhealthy relationship, and he just needed to move on. But the Arkansas people are going to love him until they hate him. That's the way it's good. That's how it usually
goes, man. But
we had enough local tie-in to justify this NCAA basketball segment at the top. But let's shout out some sponsors and then shift gears to some local sports. The MVP sponsors of LowcoSports start with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. She's with Keller Williams of the Lowcountry, the new Anchor Home Group. She'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor, or pick up your anchor and put it down in a little bit better house here in the Lowco. If you want to get into the market, put your house on the market, call on Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. And when you find that home, we'll call on Homegrown Home Inspections to give it the once over. Jan Lucas and his team are the best in the biz when it comes to making sure that you're making a great investment in the Lowco real estate market. And if you're building a new home, you got to have that phased inspection. They'll check it out every step of the way to make sure it's being built right at Homegrown Home Inspections. And Mickelson Law Firm is our official real estate closing attorney, the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Christian Academy coverage. A little foreshadowing there. Big night for the Eagles. And also our original sponsor since 2017. We love Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickelson squad, so call on them for all your legal needs. And Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, our official hospice provider and the only not-for-profit hospice care in Southern Beaufort County. They also won the Golden Oyster Award for the best nonprofit. James Disman's the CEO over there, and he's a great friend, a great person, great friend to the community. Love everything they're doing at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And so let's get into the LowcoSports slate tonight, fellas. We've had it scrolling across the bottom for people who couldn't wait to see the scores. But you guys both got out to baseball games. Big night for baseball on Mondays typically. Colleton County called off their games at May River tonight on account of the eclipse that was over at 3:15 or so, and wasn't that big of a deal here. So not sure what was behind that decision, but
I'm not sure either.
Nonetheless, those games will be rescheduled. The softball game rescheduled.
I will say that school was there's no school today. I know.
Yeah, and then you got to get people to school to bus them, and I know.
I said, I don't get it, but hey,
it was a beautiful evening for baseball. It would have been great for.
It was great.
But you guys got out to see some, and I foreshadowed it. Max, you got out to Hilton Christian, and
JP2,
out of JP2, and woo, They put a mollywop on them. Eagles were chomping at the bit to get back out there, huh?
Yeah, after what was a rough, they had a good first game in the HIT tournament last week, and then, they just had a good game against James Island, and then they struggled heavily against Stratford. Stratford's a good team, so
but that game was fairly competitive until late, and then they blew.
Yeah, they just kind of got away from them. So they have the fight in them. So I'm glad that they had a decent tournament. Not the way that you would want it to go, but hey, you got to win out of the tournament. That's pretty impressive. I
kind of think they got what they needed out of it. I think getting knocked down a couple of pegs was probably the best case scenario.
Yeah, they did. That tournament, you look at the teams that were in that tournament. Some of these teams are on another level when it comes to their playing. But they come in against a JP2 team. That was still kind of in the running potentially for fighting for the region title. So Ross Putnam didn't pitch today, which I was kind of surprised at. I assume it's because he pitched on Friday night, but even then I was wondering why he didn't pitch again today. I believe he pitched against Prep, so I don't know. It just without Ross Putnam pitching, it wasn't close. They scored 9 runs in the first inning, and after the second inning where they got to 13 runs, I kind of just dipped because I kind of got the footage that I needed, and I kind of knew this one was going away. It was a good win for Christian County. They kind of needed a good feeling win like this. They were having fun in the dugout. That's what matters, good win for Christian County. This moves them 1 game closer to a region title, and that will come down to Wednesday night against Hillnet Prep, which I hate to say, I'm not going to be able to make it to that game. And I know I believe Javon is broadcasting that game on Buford Zone on Wednesday night. A big game. Basically, this is the region title game between Prep and Hillnet Christian.
I might see if I can get on that broadcast if I'm able to. That'd be fun.
It's gonna be a hell of a game.
That's a Hillnet Christian Academy.
Looking at the schedule, JP2 hasn't played in a good while, so they were set up on pitching, but they must be saving Putnam for Friday against Prep. Thinking that's a better chance to win. Because here's the thing, Prep's going to have to play Christian on Wednesday, and then you get them on Friday with depleted pitching, and you throw Putnam. That, if they're going
it's
all
probably the good move.
Week, that's probably the move.
It's the move to make, but without Putnam, it was just a massacre. It was really a massacre today, unfortunately. But good win for Christian Academy. Zane Wilson only pitched 2 innings today.
Yeah,
didn't really need to do more. He didn't allow 1 single hit. I think he struck out 3 or 4 today. He struck out 3, and then Walker Mickelson, popped in and finished it out. Pitched 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. So again, good pitching by the Eagles.
That dude grows an inch every time I see him. He's so tall now.
Yeah,
I know. It's creepy.
It's weird.
Holy cow, he's tall.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of these players that I've seen play since middle school, like Steel Bird, man. I remember when Steel Bird was like below my shoulders, and then I saw him about 3 or 4 years later, and he's a behemoth, man. He is a monster.
I saw Slade wasn't in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, they didn't really need him.
Just giving some guys a day. Yeah, I saw Brad. Cody was in the leadoff spot, which I like. They've had him in the middle of the order, but man, I just feel like you neutralize his speed a little bit down there in the middle of the order. I'd like to have him.
Get on base, and then
I think
the big hitters.
Yeah, I do know Steele did play a bit of first base today.
Looking at a lineup card is yeoman's work. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Every time I do it, so I'm not criticizing. Don't get it twisted. I'm just talking about like what I see in a player and where I like him. I like Cody at the top. I love Slade. Like Slade would be my 2-hitter all day, every day.
Oh yeah,
100%. And then I'd have to hit Steele 3, but that's just how I would stack them up. That don't mean we might be 500 if I was coaching. So who knows?
Yeah, I think if you look at this team, it's funny because Steele actually played a bit of first base today, which I hadn't seen him do that. I haven't seen him do that all season long. So it's good to see him back on.
Play catcher, you can play first base, brother.
Yeah. I know. It's good to see him back on the field because we really haven't seen that out of him all season long, barring that injury he had from last season. So
he's mostly
to see him back on the field, taking some routine ground balls and stuff like that, and getting into the game on field, it's a good sign to see if you're Hilton Head Christian. But he's done just fine as their DH. I mean, he's built to be a DH. So
and I'm glad they were patient with that because I mean it's so hard to turn it off in a game, and you just hate for him to get in a spot where somebody's trying to take an extra base on a ground out, and he just instinctively flings it across the third, or he's cut 4 and he takes a relay and something happens. So I'm glad they waited until because he's like over a year clear of the injury now, so he should be all good to go. And I'm sure he's been on rehab and throwing programs and all that stuff and been cleared.
He's still when he's base running, when he's base running, he still wears that arm brace. Which I assume is extremely important because you don't want your arm going the wrong way, especially when sliding head first into bases and stuff like that. So
I'm over the sliding head first, man. Just go in with the spikes and go in with the business end, throw up some dirt, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you got weapons on one end and you got liabilities on the other. I like going in with the
weapons. Again, good one for Hilton Christian, man. You go to the region, a big region game against Hilton Prep on Wednesday at home. That's probably the biggest game you have at this point in the season. And then after that,
if you win
they go
in the driver's seat.
You're in the driver's seat.
Then pretty much Flora this weekend.
They have AC Flora this weekend, which is very interesting, and I am intrigued by that. I'm going to keep a very close eye on that series. Obviously, during that series, me and Wes will be in Hardyville, so for some USCB softball.
USCB softball.
So, yes, sir. But again, great win for Hilton Christian, getting back on the right foot after what was kind of not really a rough HIT tournament, but just kind of didn't go the way they wanted it to. But
it just ended on a sour note. Like they were supposed to get to play again, and they got rained out, and so it just ended on that bad game against.
From what I've been told, umpiring wise, Tuesday was a rough game for Hilton Christian Academy umpiring wise. That's what I've been told by a couple of people about that. I'm not going to go any further into that. That's all I know. All I know was it was a really rough game.
Everything else would be
with the umpires. Yeah, pretty much.
Plead the fifth. But Wes, you checked out the Bobcats tonight against the Beckham Bengals, and Bobcats needed a win, and they didn't get it. 11-4. Lucy Beckham.
No, they were done in the third.
Yeah, 8-run inning.
Dude.
Hard to watch sometimes. That completely killed any momentum that they had. They went up 1-0 early, and then wheels came off. A couple of errors, and really not all Miles Fry's fault. He pitched a solid game. Struck out 6, walked 3, 4 earned runs, gave him a chance, but you just can't make those mistakes. You can't give teams 3 outs, especially a talented one with Lucy Beckham, a team that can really get it going on offense. And they found that rhythm late. Give credit to Bluffton, though. They scrapped across a few to cut it to 8-3, and then actually 8-4, and then you found yourself in a game and just unable to add on. And then Lucy Beckham got to him late to really put it out of reach, but solid effort for Fry. But at this point, it's tough when you need a win and the defense just doesn't make the plays behind you. So that's really tough there for Bluffton, because that's a team that has been close in a lot of these matchups and have just not been able to get the W's this year. So the season's starting to slip through their grasp at this point, but still 3 more games to go in region play. And then tough one for Hilton Head as well. Shut out 5-0 against James Island on the road. Colin Anderson with a no-hitter for Colin Anderson.
No-hitter. He walked 4, effectively wild, 11 Ks.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of dudes. James Island. Like, their offense hasn't been as explosive this year as it has been the last couple, but they can shut you out any given night. I mean, Taj Marchand, he had a big night at the plate tonight.
Especially when you get one guy going the distance and throwing the no-no, it sets you up.
Well, and all their guys can do it.
Yeah. That's tough.
I mean,
that really sets them up well in tournament play.
That series against Bluffton, they didn't even throw Marchand because they held him back to throw 6 scoreless against Somerville.
That is the key, though. That is the key. Forget the offensive bats. Having good pitching and depth at pitching will help you go far into the playoffs.
That's
so
right.
like Hilton Head Christian, dude, they have some depth at pitching, man. Mm-hmm. And that, like I said, Hilton Head Christian, James Island. I mean, we thought that was going to be a good battle in that HIT tournament last week, and it was. Obviously, James Island got the better of them in the end with go-ahead grand slam late in the game. But, Bluffton, man, it's so disappointing to watch Bluffton, man. It's frustrating because, you see them fighting for it. It's just they cannot get enough luck when it comes to playing region games. I mean, they played well in all their other games, but when it comes to region games, and I know this is a very tough region, but they just cannot get a win, man, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. And it's tough for those seniors because that's a really solid senior class that's had a lot of success and won a lot of games, throughout their career, and it just hasn't been their season. It's been hard to watch, but they keep battling, they keep playing, and a couple of them are going to go on and play at the next level, and I'm sure there'll be a couple more that will have some opportunity. Whether it matches up with their priorities or not is yet to be seen, but got some good ball players on that team, man. And Cody was there last year too, Cody Bratt. If he was back, it probably looks a little bit different. You throw him in center field, and it's a different and on the mound, and it's a different look. So, but that's part of it, I mean, you're gonna have people come and go, and you got to be. That's where the depth comes in. You got to coach from bottom up and always be developing, so that he can have another guy to step in there when the time comes. But tough year for them. It's been tough to watch for those guys, but still, it's been fun to cover that group. I mean, Nico and Miles and Jackson Arsenault, and they got some good young talent coming up too. Tyler Wolf, we shouted him out the other night. He's had a terrific year. Their JV, they got a couple pitchers on JV that have been excellent. James Basil and Dawson Coonsey have been really good. So they got some guys coming, and then they got more coming from the middle schools. So it'll be fun to see how that program develops. That's what we're seeing. James Island's out front. May River got the night off. We'll see when they play Colleton. They obviously play on Wednesday, but we'll see when else. And then softball, Battery Creek, nice win over West Ashley tonight, 5-3. That's a solid victory. Stella Schubert went the distance. Yeoman's work just kept grinding. Brooke Crosby 2 for 3 with a double, 2 RBIs. Caitlin Bentley had an RBI. Haley Maroney scored twice, so good win for them. Colleton Prep undefeated still, quietly. They kind of stayed undefeated.
Wow.
Stivender with a 1-hitter over 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, and then everybody hit. But Ava Murray 2 for 2 with a double, 4 RBIs and 4 runs. Sydney Bailey 1 for 3 with a double, 2 runs and 3 RBIs. So definitely gonna have to keep tabs on the old Warhawks as we get to Skeesa State tournament time. They're looking good.
Yeah, man.
I haven't seen yet the any other scores really of note, but let's shout out some sponsors, and then we'll get into the rest of what went down tonight and over the weekend, because we do have some stuff to talk about from the weekend, some kind of kind of big stuff, some exciting stuff. Varsity sponsors DDS Web Design, builds, hosts, and maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits that get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, call on DDS. You can find them at ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties, and they've jumped on board to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco. Reverence Wrestling Club is the official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. And foreshadowing, we've got some wrestling news coming up. You got to if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level, you got to go to Reverence. And Dr. Ambrose Cole is the official chiropractor of LowcoSports, and you can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton and get feeling better, mind, body, and spirit. And real quick, Connor Worrell going to be out at the Bluffton Beckham boys soccer game tomorrow night. So
that should be
a good one.
Night. Looking forward to that. Always fun to see Foxy's Bobcats.
Big night of soccer tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a bunch on tap tomorrow. But this weekend, I teased the wrestling. Some big news from some names that you know if you watch our network. We had both of them on our state championship edition of the Lowco Grind. Jada Lawrence from Bluffton was 4th in the nation. This is the NHSCA High School Nationals up in Virginia Beach this weekend. Jada Lawrence finished 4th in the girls' 138-pound. No age brackets for the girls. It was all ages together, all high school ages. Jada's a junior. She went 5-2 overall in the week. And then the freshman boys, Houston Rudisil from May River went 8-2 in 132-pound freshman boys and finished 5th in the nation. He had a bye, then he won his first match, then he lost. He had to win 6 in a row to get back to All-American status. And then lost one and then came back and won his 5th place match. So amazing effort from Houston. I know Josh Echevarria from May River was also there. He went 2-2 in the junior 182 division. And then there were a few middle schoolers who were there that didn't place, but got obviously incredible experience. I think you had to place in the top 4 in your state tournament to qualify or something like that. There was some kind of qualification standards, but really cool to see our kids compete on a national level in all sports. But for me, I've coached a lot of these kids that have been around them, so really exciting to see our wrestlers climbing to new heights. Not a common thing here in South Carolina. And I know the kids from the Sons of Thunder, Daughters of Zion also had a big weekend a couple weeks ago. And took a bunch of people up to the Northwest Nationals or something. I'll have to track down some more information on that, but I know that they also had some success. So great to see the wrestling growing. And then on the track and field front, we had the big Buford Classic this weekend. That thing's been going on since I think continuously since 2006. The first one was in like 2002. Buford girls won the title. May River boys won the title. The biggest standout to me is Zelt Antia from Buford. She's only a freshman. She won the 100, the 1600, and the 3200, and she was on the 4x8 that they won. So,
holy cow! Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow,
unbelievable!
That's a lot. That is a lot.
That's a haul.
That is wow. Okay.
Stuff.
She was the only individual champ on the world side.
I
remember her sister. I remember her sister, Charlize. She had a great career, and now she's large and in charge now. It's just a freshman looking like the big woman on campus already for Buford High track.
Tremendous.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. She was the only individual champ from the Lowco because she won 3, and then Ridgeland Hardyville won the 4x1. Buford won the other 2 relays. And then on the boys' side, the May River didn't have like one dude. They had a bunch of guys who won titles. Jackson Wright, he's having a great year. He won the 1600. He's also a freshman. Braxton Talley won the 800. Noah Wasserman won the 3200, and then they won the 4x8. I know our guy Jonathan Kelly, he broke his own school record, the Jet. been keeping tabs on him since like 7th grade because he was all over Twitter. But he won the 110 hurdles and broke his own record in that. Eric Smart had a really good day for Beaufort, won the 400 hurdles and the pole vault. So you can see a bunch of champs in there, a bunch of names too. Bradford Thompson, KJ Chisholm, Will Branch had a nice day. They won the 4x1 and the 4x4. So pretty cool. I love me some track. I'm always busy on Saturdays and I never get to see as much of it as I want to, but I do have a video of Jet in the 110 hurdles from Coach Willie J. White's Instagram feed. It's a good camera angle for the hurdles. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a great race too. It comes right down the wire.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wow. Right on the line.
Barely got him on the lean.
Man.
Good race.
Those hurdles, that is quite a tough. That's pure athleticism. You got to be trained up to. Just to have the balance.
They're flying, dude. Yeah. So Kelly ran 15:06. Eric Smart was 15:08. So he got him by 2/200ths of a second. That was a very close lean there.
Close one.
Yeah. So that was the big stuff that went down over the weekend. On the backside of those, Friday night we talked about, or Thursday night, I guess, we talked about Kennesaw Mountain and Parkview playing May River and Hilton Head. They flip-flopped on Saturday. Kennesaw Mountain beat May River 3-1. Parkview and Hilton Head tied 3-3. And then, if you watch the rewind, you heard all about USCB. But if you didn't, Sand Truck Baseball dropped all 3 at Columbus State. Couple of heartbreakers. They were up 9-1 and lost 10-9 in game 2, and then 1 pitch in game 3. 2-0 loss on a 2-run homer. Dude put a great swing on it though.
Yeah,
really good swing on it.
Great one to start from Brendan Martin though.
Yeah, Martin, man, was lights out. Yeah.
One pitch, once back.
One stinking pitch, man. That was so annoying. I watched that game too, and I was like, oh, God, he's playing lights out. And then all of a sudden they scored 2 runs.
Oh, man.
Like, well, all right, boys, time to get back into it. And they just could never get back into it. It is still, it was so frustrating.
So there's the hit.
Yeah, there it is.
He had 1 out in the 7th, and he gave up a hit. And then...
what a nice field that they have too.
Yeah, pretty
beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of really nice fields in this conference.
Was that built for the Olympics, I wonder?
Oh yeah,
because they did a lot of the Olympic stuff out in Columbus.
It may have been.
Maybe, yeah.
Isn't that on their campus? I feel like that's on their campus. I could be wrong, but
maybe it is.
I'll have to look it up for the next time.
I was just curious. Sometimes you see that where they build something for the Olympics, and they.
Man, I can't wait until we get 2 fields on campus, man. I can't wait.
Oh yeah. I've been waiting.
Sorry,
I'm ready.
I am. Yeah. Sorry, I had to go there.
Anyway. I can't wait either. I can't wait to be able to just pop out there for a game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do commentary for those games and stuff like that. Have the
especially the first one on
it and stuff.
Students,
like a press box that's made for it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
100%. Being able to see both sides of the field.
The whole field in a press box where you can see the whole field. That would be great. But, no, we're not dragging it. We're not dragging it. I've got a lot of great memories in that place. We hosted opening rounds.
Hey, man, in my first season, that first series, weekend series that I did was probably one of the best moments I've had.
The softball against Lander?
Crazy first game.
Walk off, hit by pitch.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I will never forget those games, man. But anyway, great, tough way to lose for USCB baseball, man. That was that was rough.
But the ladies had a good weekend.
Softball,
taking
the series against the rival Georgia Gwinnett. Not a conference series, but a huge, step in the right direction. Win a very contested, tightly contested 3-game series against a team that they lost to in the postseason last year in that in the Continental Athletic Conference tournament. Of course, they're ineligible for that now, but that one year they were able to play. And it was nice to get some revenge on them and take that series. And see, now you hope that builds some confidence. And
how sweet it is. How sweet it is.
A little psyche boost,
really
you know. Just
and that's also against a top 10 ranked NAIA program too. So they're no joke. So I mean, to be able to win 2 out of 3 against them is real.
You know what the common thread in their recent wins has been, let Sierra finish it.
Sierra Kinlaw.
Exactly.
How about
they've started just giving the other two
and
one the middle game, and they just tell her, look, you got the whole thing 1 and 3 if you want it. As long as you want the ball at George. I like it.
Well, they did.
She's a dog, man.
That Flagler series, they took her out in the 7th inning, and then everything just fell apart after that. I'm not saying Abby Ramirez and Cassie Brundage aren't great pitchers. They are. But it's just not the same unless you have
the big
Kinlaw there to finish it. Yeah.
I mean, credit to Cody and Allison
ride your top guy.
Not being stubborn about it, though. You know, like they saw it happen once, and then they saw it happen again, and they said it's not going to happen a third time. Like, we're not going to do that again. You know, if she's pitching well enough to get us to that point, we're going to let her try to finish it.
Hey, they're on a bit of a hot streak right now, man.
They've
won 4 out of their last 5 games, I think.
I think they're dangerous.
Yeah. So they're playing well.
I think they're going to sneak into the tournament, but I'm not sure they're going to be dangerous in it. But the women, they're a little dangerous.
They have it. They need. Are they sitting?
No, I mean they came close to being North Georgia, number 1 in the country.
Yeah. I'm telling
so
you.
They are 3-15. So there's 9 teams. Top 8 make the tournament, and they are 4 or they're 2.5 games. They're 2.5 games back. Although they're trailing Augusta, and then Georgia Southwestern. So they still have an opportunity to make up some ground, but they need wins badly. They need it badly, and so they got Columbus State, which is number 2 in the conference, coming in this coming week. So that's going to be a challenging one.
They're in a bad hole.
They got some good hitters, and then let's see. After that, just one more series at Georgia College, and that's a winnable series for sure on the road against.
Well, that's the one you got to. They're only 3 games behind Georgia College in the loss column. So so that's,
I don't know, man. It's going to cut it
2.5
close.
behind Augusta.
You probably need to get 2 this weekend, and then
you probably need to win out. Yeah, honestly, you might need to win out.
Who's Georgia College this weekend?
Georgia College. Let's see who they got. I'm pulling it up right now.
The same thing for baseball too.
They have North Georgia. Oh, they got North Georgia. They get to go to their place.
What I'm saying is, if they get swept, then USCB gets 1. Then they're only 2 games back going into the head-to-head. You got a 3. So
could come down. Could come to the water, man.
Hey,
dude, both baseball and softball.
Get ready.
It's
gonna be.
Who's Georgia Southwestern got left? Because they're sitting on 6 wins also.
Let's see.
And USCB can get to 6 if they could get 1 this weekend.
Lander, and then USC Aiken. But all you do is get past 1. All you do is get
And Georgia College is the suspect because theoretically they go get swept by North Georgia. They're beat down. You take 1 from Columbus State. Now you're only 2 games back. And if you take 2 out of 3, you win the head-to-head tiebreaker against them for seeding.
Yep.
So they're coming in down.
Man, I wish all these games were at home and not on the road.
Yeah.
Come on, schedulers. Peach Belt Conference.
Well, at least they'll be streamed.
Well, it's the same.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you look at it; it's the same thing with baseball too.
Yeah, they got.
They have a shot.
Yeah.
They need to sweep Claflin, man. They got to sweep Claflin 100%.
They need that. They need that badly.
They have them this weekend, right?
Yes. Right.
Claflin.
and then they come back home for their last series. I'm blanking
against
who
Aiken.
they play there.
They still have a
Aiken.
they have a
Aiken's
series
the last
against-
one.
Games behind
Aiken's the
Aiken,
last
right.
one. Right.
Yeah,
and then they
but
have
they
another
have a
series
series-
before that.
Oh, they do.
It's Flagler, I think.
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
Flagler.
this could
That's right.
This could be interesting because you look where all these teams are sitting.
Right.
This
all the
could
bottom
really
half of the
come down to
conference.
the wire. Because if
Right.
you can at least win 2 against Flagler and sweep Claflin, USC Aiken, I still think, has to play North Georgia. So if they get swept by North Georgia, or at least lose 2 out of 3 against North
Right.
Georgia, this could come down to the wire, to that last weekend series.
I'm going to give
God,
USCB
this is exciting.
4 more wins going into Aiken, gives them 7. Aiken's got who left?
North Georgia and who else? Hold on. Let me look this up here.
I could see them being tied going into that series.
Yeah.
Or
For
USC be a game back.
Yeah.
You know.
That could be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just
Schedule,
hope
baby,
that
schedule,
they
give me
take
that
care of business
schedule.
because the road's right in front of them. They got North Georgia, they got Augusta, and then they got USCB.
Augusta, yeah. That North Georgia series for USC Aiken would be key for them to get in.
Yeah.
If they lose all 3 to North Georgia, we might have a
And they
showdown
could.
against USC between the in-state
boy.
rivals, man.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Can't ask for anything better than
interesting.
that. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
This is gonna come down the wire, boys.
I'm giving Aiken 1 in each of those series to get to 7 wins. I'm giving Buford a sweep of Claflin and 1 against Flagler to get to 7 wins, and they go in tied, and whoever wins the series gets in. I mean, that's what
I really see
Love
that
it.
happening.
Love
how
it.
I would handicap it.
That's the 3.
This is exciting,
Beside
man.
the last
Yeah.
spot.
See, I love
like the-
this is the fun stuff for me. I love doing the
Yeah.
math and the situation, the
Oh.
playoff scenarios.
Right.
And then
Oh,
realizing
man.
how
All the
close it
time.
is. Oh.
There's nothing better than making a spreadsheet to figure out the
Yeah.
tiebreaker criteria
All the
for high school
permutations.
football.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude,
I
I'm
know, right?
excited. I really love how this is gonna come down to the in-state rival
Yeah,
series.
man.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why you
the
schedule it
schedule
that
worked
way,
out
right?
perfectly.
That's
Yeah.
why you schedule rivalry weekends on the
Yeah, you
last
wouldn't have them.
weekend when you can, because
Yeah,
it
man.
makes it more fun. The stakes are even
That's
higher.
why the NFL has all the
Oh.
divisional
Yeah.
divisional games in the last week of the season. Trying to make it as
I'm
entertaining
just
as possible.
excited. I'm excited for the fact that we can go into the next Sandtrack Rewind with a chance to start out the rewind playing Snake Farm. It's just-
but they only play
Snake
State Farm when they
Farm.
win at home.
That's right.
Oh no.
That's a whole yeah.
No, I think with this occasion, if we win the series, we should be playing it.
Well,
We sweep
I
the
will
series.
say
We sweep the
man.
series.
there is precedent because back in the day, Guy Malul used to travel with us to the voice of the Sandtracks would travel with us and be the voice of the Sun Conference tournament. And he was known to bust out Snake Farm after a Sandtracks win down in City of Palm. It did happen from time to time, but we don't talk about what all happened at City of Palms. It was good times down there. Anyway, fellas, a couple other things going down around tonight. I did see the JP2 soccer scores. Coastal Homeschool girls beat JP2 5-1. They must have a strong squad. And JP2 boys won 4-1. I was also looking for that Beaufort-Hanahan girls soccer game. There it is, 7-0 Beaufort. Hanahan had been undefeated. But
that's a statement win.
Well, they were 6-0, but they hadn't played anybody. You could tell that
they had a cupcake schedule.
it was fool's gold. But yeah, the Eagles put it on them. Sure. Battery Creek girls 7-0 over Whale Branch. Scores have trickled in since I last looked. Not a big surprise there.
Love that.
Hasn't been a good season.
Do we have any lacrosse tonight?
And now I'm looking for the lacrosse scores. There were a couple. Beaufort High was playing. Let's see here. Their girls are winless, but they were playing Calvary Day tonight. Who's not very good.
We got Beaufort, Calvary Day,
and then
Hilton Head Beaufort boys.
Haven't seen that one yet. So still looking for those scores. I would assume Hilton Head was triumphant in that one, but I don't know for sure. But that's what was happening tonight. The Lowco Booster Club supports us, so please support them. The Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, are Lowco natives with Charter One Realty who want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Revive Rehab, Women's Health, and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. Dr. Allie and Dr. Jen will get you feeling right after you have a baby. Eagle Creations has great promotional items and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets. They can set up a team store, get you your end-of-season awards. Go see what all they can do for you at their showroom on Argent Boulevard over at Eagle Creations. Jay's Barbershop, if you need a haircut or if you just need some great conversation, you can head downtown Ridgeland for Jay's Barbershop. Great place. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. Chris Odom and his team will get your floors so clean, your feet will thank you. I saw Chris check in earlier. And click that love button because we were talking about his Gamecocks. Forever to the he's a big Gamecock guy, so he's proud of those ladies. But that's the Lowco Booster Club. Gentlemen, who you want to shout out tonight?
Well, it's Monday, so it's Teams of the Week time.
Teams of the Week. You can still shout
people
out too.
Teams of the Week. Yeah, you can do both. But I'm going to go with Homer pick. Hilton Head girls soccer. Huge win over May River. And obviously a tight game, but the way that they showed themselves, really, really impressive. And May River got a couple of fluky goals throughout that match, and give credit to the Sharks for hanging in there. But I'm just really, really excited for this Hilton Head girls team. I think all the pieces are really well in place for what Coach Kyle Newcomb has done with that squad, and they've been showing out. I mean, had a couple of important victories, had that shutout win at home over Bluffton, and now they've taken it to a tough road environment at the Shark Tank, and they come out with a really hard-earned 4-3 win. And man, I'm just so impressed by the way they showed themselves in a very challenging game against a team that has been off to a terrific start this year in that May River Shark squad, but not able to take down the Seahawks. And impressive the way they did it. They started off hot, but Andrea Tapia was really the difference. She got that early free kick goal. Katie Russo followed up, but Tapia was making contributions everywhere, scoring goals, making amazing slide tackles, blocking shots, doing everything. And then you saw some other girls like Annie Kluhl step up, and the way that back line rose the challenge against
that was Mia Castaldi with that beautiful header goal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Castaldi with the header to make it to 3-1 in that first half. But yeah, complete effort by the Seahawks on the road, and I think they've got a real shot to make some noise as we get towards the home stretch and the end of the season. And they have got themselves a heck of a coach who has really helped this team buy in together and look to get themselves back to the levels where we've seen them in the past. And they're a really young team too. A lot of young players who have made contributions to this team. So I'm excited to be a Hilton Head fan, especially a girls soccer program that's had a rich tradition. We're seeing an excellent team come together, and they're peaking. They're playing well at the right time as we inch towards the playoffs. So a lot of solid choices this week, but I'm going to go with those Hilton Head girls.
Good call. Speaking of Gamecocks, I learned a fun fact that Katie Russo is going to be a Gamecock next season. She's enrolling early. She's only a junior theoretically, but she's graduating early and enrolling early at Carolina to join the Gamecocks.
Awesome. Congrats.
Early. So she's a terrific player, really strong, man.
Yeah.
She's the force. That one goal Friday night where she just overpowered and was not going to be denied and won that ball.
Yeah,
and settled it. And man,
her footwork was sensational on that strike.
Yeah,
really gifted player.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Max, who's your team of the week?
They've had a lot. They've had a lot of.
Oh yeah, they have.
Go ahead, Max.
I gotta go with the Sand Sharks, man. I gotta go with Sand Sharks softball this weekend, man. What a great series they had against Georgia Gwinnett. Kind of a payback series for them after what happened to them in the in the postseason last year against Georgia Gwinnett. Sierra Kinlaw, man, what an animal. She is such a ridiculous and amazing pitcher. I've enjoyed watching her play all season long. This team is special, man. They are special. When they play really well together, it's very tough to beat them. So I've had a incredible experience being able to alongside Wes Kerr being able to commentate on their home games this season. But that was a huge win, a huge series win for them as they continue to head towards the rest of their Peach Belt Conference play, and hopefully with a shot at making the Peach Belt Conference tournament at the end of the season. So I got to shout out the Sand Sharks today.
10-4. Kinlaw is 8-6 now with a 2.6 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, 118 and 2/3 innings, 81 strikeouts, 22 walks. So she's not overpowering, but she gets outs. I mean, that complete game against Gwinnett the other day, she only had one strikeout, but she found a way to get soft contact and let her defense play. And there's a lot to be said for that too. So UConn kind of pulling away, boys, up 14. Team of the week. Gosh.
There's a lot on the board for you.
There's a lot.
There are a lot on the board, but it was a weird week because the stakes were lower in a lot of instances. So it doesn't feel like there were any. And then May River had a big win, but then they lost their next one. Let me give some love to May River boys lacrosse. They've taken their lumps this year. Because they scheduled up the last couple of years and the talent dropped off a little bit. And so, they were still playing a really tough schedule. They played early on Greenville, Whitefield Academy, Savannah Christian, Phillips Simmons. They won both of those. Hilton Head, Benedictine. And then they took that Florida trip and played two powerhouses, Richmond Hill, Lucy Beckham, lost the tough one to James Island, Nation Ford. They've won 2 in a row now because I just realized they played tonight. They beat Hilton Head Christian 15-9. So it's appropriate that I'm shouting them out. I think I got to give a lot of credit to that program for continuing to, kind of expect the most and challenge themselves to go up against the best and see what that looks like. And it's going to make those young players who were thrown into the fire this year all the much better going forward. And they definitely have, a youth movement coming up. And also, while I'm shouting them out, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out that Coach Tom Dyer and Coach Tommy Heber, the two varsity lacrosse coaches there, made a 5-hour trek this weekend to go watch Brooks Van Esselstyn of Florida Tech play against Jacob Bollinger of Embry-Riddle. And that ain't what it's all about. Then I don't know what it is, man. You got 2 of your guys that you coached in high school playing each other at the next level.
Nothing better.
Get in the car and go cheer for both teams. And
man.
So shout out to those guys for running a class program and seeing the course through what's been a tough season, but rallying here at the end. So I think they should be able to take care of business going on out too. They got Effingham and Beaufort. Should be 2 winnable games. And if they sneak into the playoffs, I don't know, man. Young teams that grow throughout the season are not easy outs. They're just grateful to be there and go play with everything they got and see what happens. So don't count them out. But that's my team of the week. How about that? So that'll do it for tonight, fellas. What are you guys doing tomorrow night?
I am heading for some
world
afternoon act. Yeah, I am going to Steep Pond, so the afternoon delights at the Hilton Head Prep soccer field because we got ourselves all the classic rivalry, the Hilton Head Christian Academy Eagles and the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins. HHEA, they have, not had the year potentially that they've been hoping for. They've been competitive. I only saw them once against Bluffton. That's a really solid team, a very, very young team that pushed Bluffton to the brink. And that HHCA squad could surprise going forward. So keep an eye on them. I'm excited to see how they compete against the Hilton Head Prep team with weapons abound, especially with Avery Brothers and the like. They've got some studs, but you have Devin Yard on the other end. So a lot of young women that we have been used to seeing in the basketball court and other sports, and really cool to see that rivalry continue on the soccer field. So I'm pumped to witness that one. I will take Hilton Head Prep, but I think it will be a lot closer than what we may have seen even earlier in the season, just because of how Hilton Head Chris Kami has tested themselves. So I'm pumped to see how the Eagles show themselves in this game, in this afternoon contest.
Yeah. All right. You got anything on tap, Mad Maximilian? Mad Max Furioso?
I'm looking through the schedule for tomorrow. 2 games I might take a look at. First one is where is it? Calvary Day at Beaufort High School baseball.
Okay.
That could be interesting. See how that one goes. Then the other one is let me find it here. Was it lacrosse? I think it was.
Ooh, Carlton Prep softball at Oceanside.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. That or I will be going to where is it?
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Where is the other one?
Yeah.
I might go see Patrick Henry play Battery Creek baseball.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
It could be an interesting one. Don't know how that one's going to go.
Boys, Battery Creek's pretty down this year. They're young.
Yeah.
But,
they are really young.
Patrick Henry's worth going to see. I mean, they're fun folks, to say the least.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I'll be coaching softball and then running to middle school baseball as soon as the game's over.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the opportunity to see Patrick Henry play yet this year, so I might drive up to Battery Creek and go and check him out.
You and me should take a little trip to the farm come playoff time.
Oh yeah,
come along for the ride. We'll get us a barbecue sandwich at Lester's.
Yeah,
out there at the farm now.
Hey, road trip. I'm all down for road trip, man. Let's do it. I'm down.
Yep. All right, we'll have to get it done, but that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks so much to everybody who showed up to listen or watch, as well as all of our sponsors who make it all possible. Keep spreading the word. We got the Lowco Sports Center every night, the Lowco Sports Lowdown, 10 o'clock every night during the week, keeping you posted on what's happening out there on the Lowco sports scene. So that's going to do it for tonight. For Max Arraj and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Lowco, but not before we leave you with a little afternoon delight. There we go. There we go. All right. Afternoon delight. I wanted to pull up the there we go. I wanted to pull up the Ron Burgundy one, Anchorman, but there you go. So until tomorrow, when the afternoon delight comes around, go Lowco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.